Hello, Facebook,
Hello.
Facebook, Twitch, YouTube world. It's Music Money, and we're here with Acey Slade. How are you?
Hi. Hey, what's shaking? I was just posting that I'm on here, and I feel like like I just got caught like looking at porn or something. Like I'm like,
Well, while you're doing that, I'll do a little intro of all of the things that you do. So we met years ago when you toured with Joan Jett and the Blackhearts as their bass player.
mhm.
Your guitarist for the Misfits, Dope, Murder Dolls. You do hair, you do photography. You are the new owner of Catfight Coffee. So you do a ton of stuff, but right now you're kind of focused on the Catfight Coffee. So I'd love to. Did I miss? I know you do a ton of stuff. So, and you have a Patreon. So
Well,
there's that too.
I almost cut my leg off with a circular saw, and I've been to Chernobyl and I've skydived. I guess we'll put that icing on the cake.
Did I get you pretty good in like 20 seconds? So how is Catfight Coffee going?
It is going awesome. We started I started another coffee company about 3 years ago, and after 2 years, it just wasn't working out with the partners that I had, and right around this time last year, my wife and it was very apparent that it wasn't working out with my partners, but I loved what I did. I loved doing that, and my wife's always been a really supportive person, and it's one of those things where when you have partners, and it's just like a band. It's like you need to find other people who make up for what you lack. And I think part of the problem I had with previous business partners is that we lacked the same things. You know what I mean? And that doesn't make for a good fit. uh Whereas Mei Ling, she does not lack what I do. So we kind of fill the voids a lot, and it's been awesome. It's been great ever since we started, and we were very we started the company 1 week after everything officially locked down due to COVID. And it was funny because I was bummed out that it didn't work out with my old company, and we were like, all right, the world just hit a big shit ball. It would probably be insensitive to start a company and be like, hey everybody, look, here I am. I got a new thing I'm pushing while you're all completely terrified about the future of your life at the moment, And a week went by, and it became very obvious that coffee provides routine. It provides normalcy. With the type of thing that I do with my company, I'm very good at making it feel like a community. Like we all, we have like our own Facebook groups that aren't companies. You know what I mean? It's like they're I don't even like to use the word fans, but with all the live streaming that we do and everything, we were able to really provide something for people, and that was a great feeling. And and it's fucking awesome coffee. So there.
It is. I love the cold brew. It's so good.
Thank you.
I really do. It's like, and during the times I was like, oh, I have to start making my own cold brew. So I tried like so many different types of cold brew, and they always taste like burnt.
Yeah.
And yours didn't. And it was
Yeah.
just smooth. It's just smooth and just worked the first time I tried to make it. And I was like, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and not only that, but for those that don't know, our cold brew, it comes in pouches, and you just take the pouch, put it in a pitcher of water, and wake up in the morning, you get a whole pitcher of cold brew, and then like when you get to the bottom, you just throw that pouch out, and then you're done. So it makes it really easy.
Yeah, and when I was going to mention that also, that you do a lot of live streams, stuff like that. And I did see you talk about that with like, is this the best time to launch a company right now? And someone had said like, we need coffee, like it's part of my thing and makes me happy. And I like, you mentioned that, but I just thought, I saw someone that was, you know, in your company's chat that said that, like, please do this, you know, and you guys have been doing so awesome. And your wife makes these crazy art on the coffee that she was making.
Yeah, we gotta make her
to watch.
we gotta have her do a Jackknife Stiletto logo latte art.
Yeah.
Shit,
yeah.
Why didn't I think of that before? All right, yes. That will happen. That will happen.
So I do know that when you kind of get into anything, whether it's photography or hair or coffee making, that you like fully immerse yourself in whatever you're doing, which I think is absolutely amazing. And I know you went to, like, really studied coffee and went like around the world, really, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because a lot of a lot of that started when we were on tour together, Annie. Like when anytime someone asks me how I got interested in starting a coffee company, you know, I kind of owe it to Joan in a way, you know, with her quad vanilla soy lattes, you know, like, you know, what I came to find when we were on tour, you know, it's a little bit different. Like, you know, when you tour at the level that, like, did you guys just see that?
Yes. Hi.
There's Mei Ling.
Hi.
Oh my god.
She just slid me a cappuccino.
Nice.
All right, babe. Bye. See, great service.
So great.
But yeah, when you know when Jackknife Stiletto tours, or when I tour with my own bands, it a lot of times, not all the time, but more often than not, we're playing like the dive bars, we're playing the clubs, and a lot of times in those part of towns are the used record stores, the used instrument stores, the thrift stores, and the coffee shops. You know, excuse me. And when we started touring with Joan, we were playing nice places, and there's no like used record stores nearby, and there's no shit, man. Some of those places we're lucky if there's anything nearby. But you know, what I would do is I would go on Yelp, and I'd be like, well, I want a good cup of coffee, like, and also I want to find out like where the cool record store is, where the cool tattoo shops are, where's the culture in this town. And all the culture in the town would be around these coffee shops. And you know, you worked harder than I did in the band, in that your day started much earlier than mine. But when I was playing in the band, it's like the only time I needed to be there was for sound check for, you know, a couple songs and to play the show. And that's it. That was the only, you know, really my amount of time that I had to be accountable throughout the day was maybe a total of 3 hours. And that leaves a large window of time with twiddling your thumbs. So that's when I got into photography. And that's also when I started going to all these coffee shops, and I was bored. So I started this like anonymous Yelp page where I could just be a dick to the places that sucked. And,
that's such a great idea.
Yeah. And I would just like leave these like dumb, funny reviews. And part of me was like, yeah, it'd be kind of fun if it went like viral and then everybody found out it was me. But it didn't. But I just ended up with this log of like coffee places that I liked, and then I would order their stuff when I got home because I liked it so much. And then I was like, well, this is a great idea. Like, I could be doing this. I could be sending coffee out to people. So
nice.
Yeah.
So I know since you travel somewhere in the world, I think has the best coffee.
You know,
you would say?
I would. Okay. I feel bad saying this. It's not Italy. It's definitely not Italy. But I would say, you know, New York has great coffee. Taiwan, where Mei Ling is from, and I'm not saying this because I'm, you know, trying to be Taiwan's big cheerleader or whatever, but they have an amazing coffee scene there. Japan's got a great coffee scene. Oddly, like when you go to some of the places where coffee is grown, a lot of those places, whether it's that they take it, a lot of times what happens is the places that they're grown are, I don't want to say third world countries because that's not necessarily true, but they're in the equator. So you've got like Mexico, you've got Africa, you've got the Indonesian places, and so the economy's not that great. And so what they tend to do is all the expensive coffee gets shipped out, and all the local places has kind of the crappy stuff that's left behind. So you would think that like, oh, if you're in Oaxaca, Mexico, where the coffee's grown, every place must have great coffee. And it's like, no, they ship that stuff out to make money off the gringos,
I was surprised when I went to Australia how serious they are about their coffee. Yeah. And I had no idea because like I've never heard of like, I just, you hear like, Brazil, their coffee's great. Like you just hear like the kind of main places. And then I went there and I was like, oh, wow, there's like every place I went to, and I went to a different place every day. Everyone like crafted their coffee. Like, and they had like, if it was like a Chinese restaurant in the morning, it was just a coffee shop. Like, oh, wow. every place. And they just love their coffee there. And I thought that was pretty cool.
They do. And the funny thing is that one thing that we try to do with Catfight is that some of those places can be really, really pretentious and have terrible taste in music. And what we try to do with Catfight is bridge that gap. Like the quality of our coffee is the same as the, pretentious man bun, hipster guy. But that dude has great coffee. He's just got terrible taste in music and a smudgy personality, So we try to be like, well, let's take that coffee, but present it in a fun way.
Mm-hmm. And over the summer, you were able to kind of promote Catfight at, kind of like punk rock flea markets, kind of things like that. I think I saw you do. Is that?
Oh yeah, right? Yeah. That's oh God, I miss that so bad. Hopefully when things open back up, it's funny. I was just texting with one of the organizers of one, just because she's become a friend of mine. And I mean, if you guys haven't had a chance to go to a punk rock flea market or an oddities flea market, it is just so much fun, man. Like, I mean, I made so many friends at those events, and it was funny because they were doing a virtual one, and I was really trying to put a lot of thought. So we're doing a virtual one, and with doing a virtual one, they were having each of the vendors talk about things. And with coffee, it's something that you kind of have to taste. So it didn't really leave me a lot of room to be like, some people would be like, now this is a skull from the 1700s, and it was probably a Neanderthal, and you could tell by his teeth missing. Like I don't have that ability. So. Mm-hmm. I just was trying to reconnect with a lot of the people that have been to these markets before, that have seen my face there, and just tell them like, man, I miss the guy that like I didn't have, they needed exact change to pay the valet to get out of the parking because like a nightclub night was about to happen. And I'm like, dude, I don't have exact change on me. And like one of the other vendors like, oh, I got you, like, you gave me some free coffee earlier on. So yeah, like I miss those people so bad, just that mm-hmm. sense of community.
Yeah. And I don't know if you were doing this, but were you serving coffee out of your new car or something?
No.
Or can you explain the new car that you guys got?
Yeah. Sure. So I have a 1988 Cadillac hearse. It was an idea that we had with my old company to serve coffee out of a hearse. Well, it's not quite as easy as like naively I had thought, well, yeah, like let's get a hearse and we'll get some coffee makers and we'll go to Union Square and start selling coffee out of the back of it. Well, there's a health, the health administration and tax administration, and like there's a lot of people that don't make it that easy for you. Furthermore, you can't stand up in the back of a hearse. They're mm-hmm. The people that usually ride in a hearse are laying down. They're not standing up. Um, and I hadn't really thought about that. So, so right now the hearse is the company vehicle, and what we did is we had a lot of fun with it. And again, I think this gets back to community. Um, I auctioned off one of my bases that I used to play with Joan, and we auctioned it off as a lottery. And so there was like a hearse driver's T-shirt, a hearse driver's bumper sticker, a hearse driver's keychain. So you would get all these things for buying the lottery ticket. And I mean, the base was worth like $2,000, like $2,500. But if you only had $50, you still had a chance at getting it. You know what I mean? So nobody was left out in the cold. Obviously some people bought more than one ticket, but hey man, even if you bought one ticket, you got a T-shirt, you got a bumper sticker, you got a keychain, and you had a shot at the base. So everybody had so much fun with that, and it was a really cool thing. And I got to tell you, I love driving a hearse. It's so much fun. It's the reactions that you get from people run the gamut, and it's never a boring ride.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's our company car.
Yeah, I feel like, Roxy, if you drove and had a car, that might be something you would consider.
I would consider it, yes.
Roxy's a big cat fan there.
Yeah, here comes my cat.
Oh, right. One of us. The only thing is that those cars are humongous, Roxy. So, I don't want to say that you'd have to sit on some telephone books, but
I probably would have to.
You'd probably have to sit on some telephone books.
Well, speaking of cats and stuff, you also have I don't know if it's a talent, but you've taught numerous cats how to poop in the toilet.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
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 Which
yeah,
you have
awesome.
on it's on your TikTok and stuff, I've seen.
Yeah. Well, once again, it's one of those things where, okay, so like even with driving the hearse, it never gets boring. You know what I mean? It's like I get a little numb to it, and every once in a while I'm like, God damn, this thing's so big and it's heavy on gas. But hey man, make your life interesting, make it colorful, and with the cats, but both my cats are toilet trained, and it makes for very interesting mornings. The other day, fucking Frankenstein, I was waiting for Vampy to finish going to the bathroom. She finishes, she gets done. I walk over and I'm about to pee, and Frank jumps right up on the toilet right in front, like I almost peed on him. And I'm like, dude, like that's a dangerous game of chicken you're playing right there.
Wow, you gotta fight for that toilet.
And some nights, you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and you'll turn the light on, and the cat might be using the bathroom, and they're like, it's like, all right, sorry, I guess I'll knock next time. I don't know.
I do remember once, one of the cats was a kitten, and the one bigger cat was taking a poop, and the little one came over, smacked it while it was pooping, and then bolted out of the bathroom. And I was like, what is
I know, what a punk move, man.
Yeah, right? I was like, wow, look at these cats going.
Well, that's what I mean. It never gets boring,
Yeah.
It's never, it never gets dulled. And that still happens. And now Vampy, in the training process for a hot minute, this wasn't as much fun. For a hot minute, Vampy thought that the sink was kind of like a toilet too, and she was trying to pee in the sink, and she successfully did pee in the sink a couple times. But we got past that. Everything's okay now, so no more peeing in the sink.
Well, that's good. That's nice.
Yeah.
I do have another cat poop question, but I do want to say hello to everyone in the chat, and if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. I know part of your cat of it goes in with the coffee tasting excursions. You went to somewhere where like coffee was like something with cat poop, like they pooped out the coffee and then you drank the coffee. Is that Can you explain
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So that's luwak coffee or civet coffee. So in
Okay.
Brazil, they have these animals called civets that are kind of like a cross between a ferret and a cat. And back in the day, the indigenous people of Bali thought that it was like for the royalty. I think I might be telling the story wrong, but what I do know is that they came to find that the civets would eat the coffee, uh, the coffee beans, the coffee cherries off of the tree, and poop them out. And when they did that, it processed the bean. So when you think, if you think of a coffee bean on a tree, it's like a cherry. It's really more of a fruit. So it goes through the stage where it ripens, and then it's a cherry, and it's got skin and mucilage and stuff like that. And then the inside, the coffee bean is like the stone. It's like the seed, right? And so these guys would eat it, and when they would poop it out, it would be all cleaned off, like everything except for, I mean, obviously it's some poop, but it would take all the mucilage off, the skin off, and everything like that. And they thought that, if you're royalty, you should have that one. And in theory, it's supposed to make it taste smoother. I don't know if that's where the saying "smooth move" came from or not, but I had a cup, and it was a bit more just so that I could kind of, win a bet at a party more than a strong desire to try it, and unfortunately, so a lot of people have said that we should carry it, but unfortunately the problem that you have with it is that it's become a big tourist thing. And
Mm-hmm.
there are people that will cage the civets, and they'll be in these pens, and they'll just feed them like the coffee beans, and it's not really like a humanitarian type of thing. So we
Mm-hmm.
figure we better steer clear of that.
Mm-hmm. Did you wait? So you did try it though, right? When you
Oh
were,
yeah.
was it good?
It is like a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could
Oh.
tell you it was like mind-boggling or something, but I was like, it is all right. But the one thing that we're doing right now, which is awesome, is we're doing a bourbon cask coffee. And we're just doing it for a limited run. And what that is, bourbon is made in these big oak barrels, right? And they can be in these barrels for like months up to years, I believe. And what they found is that once they empty the bourbon out, the wood still has like some of the bourbon soaked into it, and that's called the devil's cut, right? And so there's still like bourbon in the walls of the barrels. So what you do is you put the green coffee beans in there, and you continuously roll them and continuously rotate them, and then the coffee beans take on the flavor of bourbon without without any alcohol actually going into them. And so so we're doing some of that right now, which is awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
We found Mel.
Mel.
Hello. We found you, Mel. Technical difficulties.
Mel's in the jungle looking for
she can't hear us.
Civet poop.
Yes. She's looking for cat poop. I guess you can't hear us, so then maybe you gotta close out and come back in. A wild Mel appears. Now can you hear us? Why is it so... I'm going to mute her, because there's a lot of background noise there. Mel, are you alive out there? No? Technical difficulties. Oh, she got to refresh. All right.
All right.
So, okay. As opposed to popular coffee, Starbucks or Dunkin'?
Ooh, good question. I would say generally Starbucks. However, Dunkin' are very, very, they kind of get a bad rap from some people. They actually take a lot of care in the coffee that they brew, the coffee that they buy, I should say. I think that the problem with Dunkin' coffee is a lot of times the way that it's brewed and how long it sits for, which didn't used to be that way. But the coffee that they buy is actually very high quality. So
Yeah, like their ground coffee that you buy
yes.
is good, but every time I've gone to get coffee there, it's just been terrible.
Yeah, that's why you got to add all that milk and sugar to it to give it some taste. Yeah.
You know, because I always used to get a lot of sweet coffee, and you always used to say, I like coffee flavored coffee. Because I add lots of sweets to it.
Yeah. Well, I've kind of come around a bit to that in some ways.
I have too.
Yeah.
I don't put sugar anymore, but I do add like a sweet cream or something.
Nice.
I'm doing better.
You know what's funny? I just told someone the other day that cream and milk are two different things. Because in Pennsylvania, they call like you say, how do you want your coffee? I want it with cream and sugar, right? And I don't know where that started, but no one ever actually puts cream in the coffee, right? It's maybe it's half and half, but usually it's milk. And they were not aware. I just told them that the earth was round. Like it was like they were just
what?
Right, exactly. So it's like, wait, do you mean to tell me they don't actually put cream in the coffee? And I'm like, I guarantee you that they don't. They really don't. And cream isn't milk? And I'm like, no, two different things.
Yeah, like I've been drinking like cold brew more. I've been into, but like a sweet cream, so like a little vanilla flavoring in the. But I feel like when you do ask for cream somewhere, they give you half and half.
Yeah.
I think that's what they do.
You know what else is good to add like a little bit of a natural sweetness is Oatly. Oatly make an oat milk that's specifically for coffee, and sometimes it's labeled as like a barista's oat milk or whatever. But that one's gives a really, really nice taste to coffee.
Nice. We found a wild Mel again. Can you hear us now?
I can. Yes.
Okay. Hello.
Okay.
What's up, Mel?
Hello. How are you?
How you doing?
I've been better. I just got back from the hospital, but I'm home now, so.
Oh my goodness.
Good. Yeah.
I hope you're okay.
Thanks.
Well, we've been talking about cat poop and
cat poop. Okay.
Coffee and
cat poop and coffee. That's right. It's like coffee made out of cat poop or something like that, right?
Yeah, we just explained that.
Okay. I'll watch the rerun.
Which is also Civet, right? That was also a punk rock band, an all-girl punk band that was on Hellcat.
Oh yeah.
So they named their band after cat poop? Or
Maybe.
Cat poop coffee?
I didn't know that.
No,
at the
after
time.
the animal. The animal.
Oh.
So the animal's called a civet. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's more acceptable for a band name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although I guess, cat poop would be a great, band name too.
Cat poop. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So can you talk about any of your musical endeavors during this time, or what you got going on, or has it been kind of obviously you can't really tour right now, but what you got going on?
Honestly, I got bummed out. I can't lie. I wish and I didn't realize it until the past couple weeks, like really, with the midway through January, I would say was when I started to feel like myself again. And then especially like ever since the warm weather's been coming about, and it looks like that they're announcing some festivals in England and stuff like that. For me, part of it was it kind of started off that I just wanted to submerge myself in Catfight because hey, I gotta keep the roof over our heads and pay for groceries, and so I went full throttle on Catfight, but it did turn into a little bit of like not depression's not the right word, but just feeling like, well, what's the point? Because every day is going to be the fucking same, and I'm such a live performer that even when I'm writing songs, I'm thinking about like, oh, what's it going to look like live? Like how am I going to move? You know what I mean? Like what are the lights going to be doing? Like I think that far ahead when I'm writing songs, because I'm I'm not like, a singer-songwriter type, I play rock and roll. And it just felt like, well, what's the point half the time, but I am happy to say that I've come out of that. One song I'm working on right now, I'm working on a coffee song actually, which is going to be really, really, really fun. So check this out. On TikTok, it's all the clips are 15 seconds or 30 seconds or 1 minute, right? And what I came to notice was that when I was doing my videos for Catfight on our TikTok and I wanted to put a song in about coffee, there's really nothing there, So what I'm doing is I'm writing a song where the intro sounds like the Ramones, right? The verse sounds like Cheap Trick. And then it's got a bridge that sounds like a ukulele sweater girl, like, oh, da, la, ba, doo, ba, da, like that type of thing. And then it's like a thrash metal outro. So it sounds completely bipolar. Like it's a little bit of everything, but each part is kind of a chorus, and each part is only 15 seconds to 30 seconds long, so that it can be on TikTok, and only happens twice. So the whole song is only 2 minutes and 30 seconds long.
Perfect.
And every part of the song is about coffee in a different way, whether it's the sensitive sweater girl with the ukulele or the thrash metal dude with the plumber's crack. We got everybody covered.
That's great.
Yeah.
Sounds like the best coffee song ever, or just a great song.
Like the outro is totally beef.
Mm-hmm.
For those that know beef.
Yes.
who I love dearly.
Yes, we all do. We all do.
And for those of you who don't know, we're talking about a person.
Yes.
Not the meat. By the way, Acey,
I didn't even think about that.
Name.
Yeah, you're right.
I just noticed your name as I Will Eat Your Nutella.
Yes.
Love it.
I will.
Acey loves Nutella.
Good to know.
I do.
And
do you mix it in your coffee?
Occasionally I do. But like Annie, I'm trying to cut out sugar.
Uh-huh.
Which hasn't been easy because our Catfight crew are the people that support us and are part of our community. What we do is every Sunday we have what's called Cattail Hour at 2. And Sundays are my cheat day, right? And they've just gotten out of control. They've just gotten nuts to the point where this past week I got a box that was like this big. I swear to God, it was a 50-pound box filled with all these candies like from Scandinavia. So it was like salted black licorice with hot peppers and just like all this weird stuff. And of course I'm like, I don't know. I can't read it. I don't know what it is. And everybody's like, eat it. And I'm like, okay. Oh, it's so nasty. It's so gnarly. And of course I have to do market research ahead of time to see if there's certain things that I actually want on the show because we promote local bakeries and stuff like that as well. So, I got to try their stuff during the week, but that doesn't count as cheat day because it's market research.
right. So you get to eat.
So
you love sweets like cakes and stuff
Right.
like that too. So
Right.
yeah.
So I've given up sugar completely except for like 4 days a week.
It's science, you gotta do
But
it.
It's all for research.
But 3 of those days are market research days, so they don't count. There's really only one cheat day.
Love it.
That's fantastic. Are you making a Nutella coffee?
I tried.
I'm sure people have asked you this before.
Yeah, I tried, but I didn't. We failed. That's the bottom line. Like we tried. It wasn't. I mean, I'm really rigid on the things that go into a bag of Catfight, and if I don't think it's just amazing, then I don't want to do it. I want everything that we do. I want to have a wow factor, And the as much as I tried, I feel like, you know what it is? I feel like you kind of have to actually put Nutella in your coffee, you know? And also the one that I tried had like, it was a little bit synthetic, and I was like, I don't know, just didn't work out right, you know?
Mhm.
Sadly.
What's your favorite flavor you've made so far?
Ooh, we do, it was really unexpected. There's a black walnut flavor that we do that we call Black Magic. And I mean, honestly, when I started getting into the coffee business, I was like, I don't want any flavored coffees, because I feel like there's some companies out there that sort of gave them a bit of a bad rap. Like, it's like, here's a banana daiquiri coffee, you know? And it's like, well, how does that work? Banana daiquiri coffee, but people make it, you know? And I was like, I don't like that, you know? And then so I was like, well, let me try this. Let me try black walnut. That sounds kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. And coffee by naturally has a nuttiness to it. And I gotta say that was the first one that I tried with the intention of putting it into my range for my coffee company. And it is a home run. That is so good. And to this day, I mean, the biggest compliment that I'll get is like when we do those punk rock flea markets or those oddity flea markets, and we'll put samples out, and someone will be like, well, I'm not really a coffee drinker, but let me try it. And they take a slug and they're like, oh my God, can I buy a bag? Are you guys selling any? Let me get some. And, you know, people who will say like, I usually drink my coffee with milk and sugar, but this Black Magic, I don't have to add any milk or sugar to it at all. I can just drink it as is. So yeah, that one's my favorite. We did one called Highlander Grog, which is like rum, vanilla, and butterscotch, and that's really good.
Ooh.
And again, those are all tasting notes that you could kind of find in coffee, but that's a really good one too. And we're working on some new ones that aren't out yet, but they'll be out soon.
Nice.
Awesome. Everyone's saying very amazing stuff about your coffee, and Black Magic changed their life with that flavored coffee.
It's life-changing.
I know Mel's one of those ones. Like, she probably has like chocolate donut whipped cream type like coffee, which I would
All right,
too.
Mel.
Like,
No. But you know what, Mel? What's your favorite flavored coffee? That's a good question.
Oh, there's so many. Okay, I have a vanilla macadamia nut that's
Okay.
really, really good. I actually do have a chocolate donut flavor. It's Entenmann's brand chocolate donut flavored coffee, and it's so good. And I just got a whole bunch of different flavors. I'm gonna have to try your walnut one now that you said. I got a cinnamon roll and cinnamon crumb cake. Amazon was having a huge coffee sale, so I just went crazy. I got some Cafe Du Monde with chicory coffee.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Did you get that in a cup, or was it regular?
What was that?
Was it in a K cup, or was it regular?
No, it's a whole can of it. The regular stuff.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But yeah, the vanilla macadamia one was really good. I'm all about vanilla coffees.
Okay.
Vanilla and cinnamon.
me
Those
too.
Then you'll like that the black walnut. You know, it's funny because cinnamon is a really hard flavor to add to coffee. There's a whole
actually
other
like adding.
process.
Yeah, like instead of putting cinnamon flavored coffee, here's a little trick I learned. Just take regular unflavored coffee, and put some actual cinnamon, mix it into the grounds, and then make the coffee.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So it's like straight up cinnamon.
That's a really good idea.
And it's so good.
That's
and
a really
pumpkin
good
pie
idea.
spice too. Pumpkin spice.
Okay.
Pumpkin pie spice has like it'll come in the bottle already mixed. There's like cinnamon, nutmeg, and a few other things. And putting some of that in the coffee.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
okay.
good.
For a second there, I thought that I was just picturing you taking a pumpkin pie and dumping it into your coffee filter area there, and just like dumping it and trying to close it on, and whipped cream flies everywhere.
Right. There's actually no pumpkin flavor in it. It's just like what you put into the pumpkin pie, like cinnamon and nutmeg and all that. Yeah. Because you're right. Some of those like cinnamon flavored coffees, it's like it tastes fake.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's just weird, but if you put the real stuff in regular coffee, it's good.
Oh, you know what else too? We have a what we call black pumpkin, and the black pumpkin flavor you should check out because we really took the edge off on the cinnamon. So there is some cinnamon in there, but it's definitely not like that overbearing, bitey kind of taste that you can get.
Yeah, cinnamon's definitely, it's like you said, tough to work with because you can go from like red hots where it's spicy cinnamon, or you have like the type of cinnamon you'd put in your tea.
Yeah.
So, or cappuccino, whatever.
Roxy, what's your flavor? You're like a black coffee, right?
Yeah, I don't really do flavors.
Yeah. She likes coffee flavored coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee flavored coffee.
Yes, I think you need it. If you don't, you should probably have a T-shirt that says "coffee flavored coffee."
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, weren't you the one that invented that phrase?
Yes.
Me?
Yeah.
No, that was from a skit on Saturday Night Live.
We'll say you did it.
Yeah, we all know it from you.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
All the coffee runs we've done with you over the years, we know it from you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I want to get Roxy some shots of espresso.
What is happening? Oh, I think Mel, you have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's always Mel.
Oh, there was a door. Yeah.
Well, she's in the jungle, you know.
Yeah, there's lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. So now, how many? I might have missed these questions already, but how many different flavors do you have out right now? So you have the walnut one, you have the pumpkin one you just mentioned. I'm guessing you have an original.
Yeah. So we have our house blend and our morning blend, and those are not flavored. And then we have our Cleopatra light roast, which is a Mexican coffee. One of the things that we've really wrestled with is telling people, educating people that light roast coffee doesn't mean wimpy. It doesn't mean like a weak taste. It means that the coffee's roasted lighter, which technically means it actually has more caffeine than dark roast, which not a lot of people know that either. But light roast usually has more caffeine, but it just means that it's a little bit more like, say, like Mountain Dew or ginger ale or Sprite versus Coke. You know what I mean? Like those light colored sodas still have a ton of flavor, right? It's just different than like Coke or root beer or something like that, you know? So we got that. And then we have the Highlander Grog flavor, which I mentioned too, which is the butterscotch, rum, vanilla. So we got the Highlander Grog. We did a decaf as well because there's just a lot of shitty decafs out there, and so we made one that we feel is really strong and really good. And then we have our Eclipse dark roast, which is really, really dark roasted, you know, really strong. And that's pretty much it. But we got a couple new ones coming out very soon.
Nice. Any raspberry flavored ones? Any fruity ones?
You know,
chocolate
it's
raspberry
funny.
is good coffee flavor.
Yeah, I tried doing raspberry and blueberry with our black walnut because I'm trying to keep our flavor. Like I think of our flavors like you would think of the songs on an album. Like I think of our coffee company as the album, and I think of the flavors as the songs, kind of, right? And so I wanted to add the black walnut to those flavors so that there was some continuity in taste, but it didn't knock it out of the park for me. And it was really weird because we liked the blueberry better than the raspberry, and then we tried it with milk and sugar, and then the raspberry tasted better. So it was really kind of weird, and we just want something that really knocks people's ass on the ground where they're like, wow. I don't like it to be like, oh, this is really good and it's as good as the other things I can get from other people. We want it to be like, oh my God, I've never tasted this before. What is this? And that's always our goal, you know. So
Beef is in the chat, but he never drinks coffee.
What's up, Beef?
Hey, Beef. Well, we're definitely going to have to get one of each flavor of yours and do a taste testing. We're going to have to make a whole YouTube video of just us taste testing all your coffees. I can't wait.
I would love that.
Yes. And you do have a new Patreon. You want to explain that a little bit and what you got going on there?
Yeah, so my Patreon, again, it was one of those things where I was reluctant sort of to start one, and a lot of that was sort of pride in a way, but I didn't really understand what it was all about until I saw some of my peers, some of my fellow musicians starting to do them, and they were having a lot of fun with it. And I always thought that Patreons were a bit more either, I don't know, geared towards crowd fundraising, like for an album, like almost Kickstarter or something like that. And I didn't realize like how interactive it is and how fun it is, and the flow that you end up having with your fans, and how much you can learn from your fans about yourself. Like sometimes I feel like as artists, we're a little bit like, we're so immersed in our art and we're so immersed in our creativity that we're like, imagine like a painter, right? And the painter's like standing this close to the painting, and so they can't see the whole body of work, And I feel like every time I talk to people on Patreon, I take a step back and they're like, oh man, I really liked it when you did this. Oh, I wasn't crazy about when you did that. And it's always surprising. Sometimes I'll find out like people really liked something that I thought everybody kind of hated. And, yeah. So basically what I do with my Patreon right now, every week I have what's called Dead Time Stories. And Dead Time Stories are me looking at the history of everything that I've done. And like Annie was saying before, like whether it's, the very first day, like I'm good at keeping track of events and things that I've done. And so whether it's like the very, very first day that I ever left to go on tour with Dope, or maybe there was a funny story at a Misfits show, or, well, I don't really go into that, but, or maybe there's something, that happened at a Dope concert, or what it was like to be on Oprah Winfrey with Joan, or stuff like that. And I kind of write about that. Or this week, touring is usually pretty slow. So this week I just wrote a story about when I accidentally cut my leg off. And so it's just, I've lived a really interesting life, and everyone's always asking me to write a book. And instead of writing a book, I'm kind of doing it every week, telling these different stories in a written format. Now, if you go to the next level, you get to, we sit down and we have a chat about it, and I talk about it. And as I'm talking about it, like I'll remember things, or people were there and they'll be like, oh, I was there. And don't you remember that, like, about this guy or that person? I'll be like, oh yeah, no shit. That's right. It did happen that way, So that's that. And once we start touring, people will be backstage. So it's not just all about, talking about things from the past. It's talking about things from the present. When I go into the studio to record the Coffee song, my Patreon people will be involved in that, So it's just fun, man. I didn't realize how much fun it was going to be, and I love it. And now I want to be like a patron to some other artists as well,
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Is there a Jackknife Stiletto Patreon?
No, there's not. Not
Is there a
yet.
Bruce Wayne Patreon?
Is it what? Is
there a Bruce Wayne Patreon?
I don't think he's done with it yet, but he's a little hustler, but he's slacked on the Patreon, so
he's got his TikTok though.
Yeah, he has a TikTok though.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheap.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got to pay rent. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Got to pay for all those toys.
Yeah.
We are going to wrap.
That iPhone that he's filming those TikTok videos on, somebody had to pay for it. And their first name wasn't Bruce and their last name wasn't Wayne.
So, Acey, I have to ask, are your cats still potty trained? They are.
And in fact, Mel, we talked about it before, that we did have a little bit of an accidental side route that we didn't expect. Vampy is still kind of a kitten, and we got her potty trained. Everything was cool. And then one night I caught her peeing in the sink because I think in her mind she's like, well, they're both porcelain. Like, what's the big deal? You know,
Mhm.
but they are very different. I brush my teeth in one, not in the other. I'll let you guys figure out which is which.
That's great. We are going to wrap this up in a few minutes, but do you have anything you want to specifically plug that you have coming up? Or I know we, mentioned Catfight Coffee and your Patreon. Is there any other projects you kind of have that you want to?
No, just right now. I mean, it's funny because there's a lot of things on the horizon that are contingent upon touring and contingent upon a few things. But so there's a lot of things that I'm like dying to talk about, but I just can't just yet, In a couple months, I hope so.
We hope so too.
Yeah.
Should we put them on
Yeah, you could put them on the spot.
I'll put you on the spot.
Yes.
All right. So at the end of each one of these live streams, we put our guests on the spot. And can you come up with something positive to leave off with, to tell everyone in the chat, everyone who's listening, what can they do to stay positive in these crazy times? What is something they could do to stay sane, even a little bit?
There's two things. One is an actual practicality thing. The other is more mindset. The practicality thing is try to do one thing every day, nice for someone other than yourself, and don't tell anybody about it. Don't ask for a reward. Don't, go tell your boyfriend or girlfriend, hey, guess what I did today? Do it, and don't and if you can't let the person know that you did it for them, that's even better. There's that. But then the other side to it, which is a bit more of a mindset, is, just remember everybody's suffering. Just remember everybody, this time sucks right now for everybody. And, not to personalize it, it's like I caught myself the other day. I was trying to parallel park, and this woman, laid on the horn, and as she drove past me, I'm flipping her off, and so I get in my spot and I go in my house, and I happen to notice, look out my window, that she was parking across the street. It's like this little old lady, you know what I mean? And it's like, you don't know that when you're in your car, you know what I mean? And she's kind of like, struggling to get out and stuff. And I'm like, she was just upset at that moment. She was upset. She had somewhere to go. She might have something to do. And, just trying to remember to not personalize it, like I did right there. I took it personally. Like, why is this person laying on the horn while I'm trying to parallel park? Maybe she's got something serious going on, or maybe she just got some bad news, Easier said than done, but.
Yeah.
I do like to wave at people now when they are honking at me. Just because you don't know what's going on, and if they are having it, might make them mad, but it also might make them laugh. So it has, So if they're laying on their horn, I like to go.
I try, but I honestly, I live the neighborhood I live in Newark has the worst drivers on the planet anywhere, and it sometimes just they do things where I'm just like, what are you even doing? I don't understand. I can't get my head around it. Stop. They'll stop at intersections where there's nobody needs to stop, and it causes an accident because people don't know what the guy's doing, And so but I try so hard.
Mm-hmm. Someone was very nice and let me go at a stop sign the other day so they could finish texting on their phone. I was like, oh, that's nice. It's like, thanks so much. And I just see they're like, go ahead.
I got in my first accident I've ever been in my life, and I knew it when we moved here. I'm like, all right, first accident I'm ever going to get on in my life is going to be here. And it was a similar, well-intending thing, but at the same time, I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking? And I shouldn't. I was at an intersection, and I pull up, and I have a stop sign, but the traffic going this way does not. But traffic was backed up. So all the traffic is kind of covering, is blocking the intersection, so I can't go across, right? In addition to that, it's alternate side of the street parking. So everybody is parked 2 out, right? So I'm sitting there and the traffic edges forward a little bit and there's room for me to cut across. And I look to my left and the woman that was in her car there, I'm like edging forward, but I can't see around to see, because like I said, these guys don't have to stop. So I'm edging out and I look to the lady to my left and she goes, go ahead, like waves me on. I'm like, cool. As soon as I edge out, pow, I get hit. So traffic was coming the other way, which I guess she was thinking, oh, I'm going to be nice and let you go through. Not like she could have gone anyway, but yeah.
Oh, man. Well, we're glad you're okay.
So am I.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on with us. And I
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I hope we get to see you soon.
Oh, I want to grab one of the legs. Hold on.
There you go, right there.
I want to tickle the foot. Is it ticklish? Is it a ticklish foot?
Mel, is it ticklish?
It's very ticklish. I wish it could be like moving and flinching right now. That'd be funny.
Can I do this little piggy? This little piggy with the.
I have one last question.
Okay.
Do you like fudge?
Who doesn't like fudge?
I know, right? Do you guys like fudge?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like fudge?
I'm confused. Where'd this question come from?
So I think we were in an airport once, and there was a fudge store, and I was like, Acey, do you like fudge? He's like, what kind of question is that? Of course I like fudge. Who doesn't like fudge? And it just became... That's how I remember it. That's how I remember it.
Because then we asked the boss lady, and she had the same response. Which was funny because she has her personality, and it is just like it didn't expect like I think you offered her some, and like you asked me, and I was like, who doesn't like fudge? And then you get some, and you walk to Joan, and you're like, Joan, do you want some fudge? Not like actually even expecting her to say yes. And she's like, who doesn't like fudge?
That's right.
It's so true.
Oh man, that was good. Yeah, I haven't had fudge in a while. Now I want some.
I love going to the little fudge shops where you could just try like a little piece of each flavor.
Is that part of market research? We could just do that, right?
Oh yeah. That doesn't count for like any calories or sugar or anything because it's research.
It's
cool.
I like that rule. It's research. Well, thank you so much.
Of course, guys.
Hope we see you soon. Everyone, check out Catfight Coffee and all of Acey's social medias at Acey Slade. And we'll see you soon. I hope we see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. Bye.